Hi, everybody. Hi. Hello, cousins. Hello, family members. You guys already look more supportive than my own, but very pleased. I was, so as my family, I will just get one thing out of the way because I was just asked this by a fellow family member. They said, Ophira, that you made that up, right? Why the fuck would I make that up? No, it is my real name. It is just a very old, ancient Hebrew name that didn't catch on. So, I am from my family. I'm the youngest of 6. Are there other people, big families? A few of you, other than these people right here. Youngest? Any youngest? Yeah? Were you teased and tortured by your older siblings? No? That's called denial. Yeah. I was, and someone else yelled out yes because they're still working through it. I was teased. It never ends. Once you were the baby, you were always the baby. And I went home recently, and this was very standard. All my family was sitting there because they live in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I moved very far away on purpose, and I walked in and they saw me and they did this. This is their favorite little thing. They went, hi, hey, guess what? Nobody wanted you. You were a mistake. Because that's funny. That is some funny, funny stuff. And I finally actually confronted my mother about it because I'm too old to do that, but it was still bothering me. And I actually went and talked to my mommy about it. And she was very cool. She was like, don't be ridiculous. You all were mistakes, which I think you would agree. I am Canadian. We walk amongst you undetected. But I moved to the States, and I actually moved here to do stand-up. And when I left Calgary to do stand-up, I wouldn't say that my family was unsupportive, but I would say they were concerned, worried. I think my mother said, well, God help us, which is anytime God is invoked at the end of someone telling you what your career plans are, that probably means that they don't think you're going to make it. So I left Calgary, and immediately someone asked me if I wanted to come home to Calgary and perform a show, because I had so many family, youngest of 6, huge extended family. They thought, what a great amount of people to bring into an auditorium. Would you like to perform in front of them? And I said, no, absolutely not, right? Many reasons. They're judgy people. They are very funny. They are very, very funny people. And you know what funny people hate? Other funny people. I was the youngest, and I think I cultivated a bit of an innocent persona for them. I got away with a lot, all those typical things you hear about the youngest, and I was living a life as a normal 20-something, dating lots of people. I ended up writing a book called Sleeping My Way to Monogamy. You know, like I was doing field research and going out and being part of a comedy scene, which, as you might know, takes place in bars. So I was also afraid to perform in front of them because they might learn about who I actually am. But I thought that in a diluted sense, I thought, you know what? I'll go back to my hometown when I am a star. That was my diluted idea. Ha-ha, I'll show them. I'll show all my family. I'm the youngest. They never gave me space at that dinner table to talk. They'll see, because I'm going to come back as a star. And then 10 years passed, and, you know, some good things happened. I did some little television spots with stand-up. I worked really hard. I paid rent in New York with my own money. I never asked my family for any money, but you know, like it's hard to pay things out of your own pocket and not credit. I got a green card. There was a lot of things that happened, and a lot of things happened for Calgary. Calgary, Alberta, if you don't know, it became an oil boom rich town. Everyone became kind of instantly a millionaire just based on their property, which made me feel really good for my family, but also like they were doing great, and there I was in New York, and I was just failing. But one day, I had a really good sandwich. You know that feeling after a really good sandwich? Like with things you like on it, like caramelized onions or whatever your thing is, where you get this inflated sense of goodness in the entire world. Like everything might be okay. Like maybe we're all going to get along. Like maybe it really is all about love. And I always was a little embarrassed about turning down that booker. And I thought, you know what? It's time to go home. And it's time to show people who I am. So I called up the booker, and I said, let's book a show. And she said, great. It was 3 months down the line. And I was like, 3 months? That seemed like so much time. I'm going to write a new act. I'm going to lose 10 pounds. I'm going to go to the gym every day. I'm going to get more famous. I'm going to get a facial. I had huge plans. Also, that was right around the time that Facebook became part of our lives. Do you remember that? I realized recently that my nephew has never known life without Facebook. Right? Like, he will never know what it's like to go, I wonder what happened to Chris from high school. And then just shrug his shoulders and move on, you know? He doesn't know about the golden years. He doesn't know. He doesn't know that some people you were actually meant to lose touch with. There are some people. But Facebook started, and in the beginning, you know, I signed on because I was like, what is this magical social media? Oh my God, we're all connected. And as everyone probably experienced, you were just inundated immediately with requests from family members you didn't even really know, friends you'd lost track of, high school, college, wherever you were at, they all came in, and I was so scared of it that I barely friended anyone. I left everyone just in that what I call Facebook purgatory, you know, that gentle state in between accept and ignore, where they just kind of hang there, like, let God figure it out, you know, like one day. And the time was passing. All of a sudden, 3 months turned into 3 weeks. And the booker called me and said, ticket sales are very low. Is your family coming? And I was like, well, I should tell them about the show, I guess. Because I did not want to come to Calgary. I knew I was not coming as a huge success, but I knew that I wasn't going to come as an absolute failure. So I called everyone up and asked them to come. They were excited. And then I got on Facebook, and I befriended every single person from my past. I mean, people I'd never met before, extended cousins, people I took ballet class as a kid, ex-boyfriends with unresolved issues. I mean, I just went for it and invited everybody, and a lot of people seemed very enthused to come, which to me meant their life was going great, and my life in front of them was going to look terrible. But I had 3 weeks. I was going to change everything. Still had time. Well, 3 weeks turned into 3 days very quickly. And I woke up one day going, I can't write a new act. I'm not becoming more famous. Nothing's going to change. I can still get a facial. That is all I can do. Which I did. And then I got on that plane. And all of a sudden, I was on stage, and the lights went up, and there was the crowd. And it really was everyone from my past, all of my family, I mean, people I'd never met before. They were all, like, it wasn't like being at a reunion or a wedding or anything. It was like being alive at your own funeral. And I was scared. I was so scared. I've never had stage fright like that in my entire life. And the only thing that made me happy, because as I mentioned, I've never taken any money from these people, not that kind of family, is I thought, you guys paid 20 bucks at the door. I have your money. And if it all else fails, I took your 20 bucks. And I started my act. I'd like to say, it was amazing. I became a hero, or it was a disaster, and I had to hide to get out of town. But the truth is, much like a lot of life, it was okay. Like, some stuff worked, some stuff didn't work. My uncle was translating it very loudly into Yiddish for my aunts. My brother heckled me at one point and just went, it's not true. And I was just like, shut up, Amir, which I think was my biggest laugh of the night. My set finished. All my family members that are very close, my mother, who at the time was 75 years old, she's still alive, but she's even older now, took off, which was an issue. I'd deal with that later. My brother hung out, gave me a hug. And said, you know, that he wouldn't say proud, but he said, I learned a lot. But I had 3 cousins my age who I'd never met before, and they asked me to go for a drink, and they looked very successful. And I thought, okay, here we go. I'm going to go for a drink, but they hated the show. What am I going to say? I was so vulnerable. I just put myself out in front of these people. We go for a drink in a mini mall, because that's Calgary. That's going to be your best choice. And we sat down, and they were like, tell me about your life in New York City. And I was like, all right, I do stand up. I make a little bit of money at it, not enough, but I'm really trying. I met this nice guy. We're thinking about getting married. I love him, but I also get a green card, so that's really going to work out. And, you know, I'm just trying. How about you guys? And the first woman with a big smile went, well, you know, because we don't know each other, I'll just give you the footnotes. 3 children, 3 divorces, 3 restraining orders. And then she literally punched the sky. She went, woo, woo, woo. I was like, what? The other one told me that she was working at a caterer, and she was planning on starting her own business and really trying hard to like put it all together. The other cousin was telling me that she's going back to school because she'd raised a couple kids, but she realized she wanted a career, and she was going back to school. And in that moment, I was like, oh my God, I thought I was going to be battling like Rottweilers with like diamond-encrusted collars that were there to judge me, but they were just people. They were just my relations who were interested in me, and they were also just trying. And it felt better than just liking the next post I saw from them on Facebook. It felt so much better to be in that moment and actually talk to them. And at the end of the night, I took the money that I'd taken from them at the door, and like their big New York cousin who moved away to pursue stand-up comedy, I picked up our tab. Thank you.